Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of The Bullet. My name is Paul Lathrop. I'm the Deputy Director of New Media for the Second Amendment Foundation. Joining me today, not on his day, but Amanda Suffolk was scheduled today. She, of course, as Amanda does, she's got 8,000 things going on every day. Her plate got overfull. She had to bow out, and Charlie said, "Yeah, I'll come in. I'll join you. I've got nothing else planned." So,
Right. As I like to tell Amanda, all I do is really just try to keep up. So she's got 8,000 things going on, and I just try to keep up. So when the overspill happens, I will gladly accept it.
very cool. So, speaking of Amanda, I do want to bring up. We brought this up last week, but I want to bring it up again. It came out last week that Amanda has been one of the people. Amanda and Rick Ector are two of the people selected to be running for the NRA Board of Directors this coming February. Both are friends of ours. We both consider both of them friends, I believe. And
I don't know about Rick.
yeah, well, he did treat you a little roughly last year, but uh,
For the whole year.
yes, he did.
Anyway,
But yeah, I think they'd both do good on the board of directors.
they would be great on many levels. One, because we know them. Um, they're each
Which,
a
by the way,
minority.
should be what everybody goes by. If they're friends of mine, they should
Oh my
be in.
gosh. Absolutely, absolutely. It's great to have somebody from a minority
Yeah.
on the board of directors. Um, that's just an ancillary bonus. Rick, Rick's story. He's a training counselor in Detroit. He's trained thousands and thousands of not just women, but people. I don't know why he'd say people, but he's had thousands of students come through his Legally Armed in Detroit. He's been on the cover of the NRA magazine a number of times, and he would be a great candidate or it would be a great member of the board of directors on the
Yes.
NRA. And
Absolutely.
Amanda, of course, we can't say enough positive things about Amanda, other than she's super busy with everything,
Yeah.
but she would be great to have as well. And I know this is one of her goals is to become a member of the NRA board of directors, and that is that's where one of her beacons is, to keep her going and to keep doing all the things that she's doing, between the fashion shows and the radio shows and the Women for Gun Rights, and being on here on the Polite Society and the Daily Bullet, and speaking at AmCon, and speaking at GRPC, and speaking with the DC Project. Like, that is one of her big goals and objectives, is to get on the NRA board of directors.
One of the old sayings I follow quite often. If you want to get something done, give it to a busy person. Because if they have almost no time, they will find time. If they get things done, they'll find time to get what you need to get done. If you find somebody that's got a lot of time on their hands, they'll never get to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's one of these people. Like I said, all I try to do is keep up.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead, and I want to, before we get into the news stories, I want to mention, if you want to get your comments in on anything we're talking about, go ahead and comment on the Polite Society podcast feed, either the Facebook or YouTube live videos, or if you're catching us anywhere else on OpsLens or anywhere else that picks up our feed, go ahead and tweet with the hash. Go to Twitter, tweet with the hashtag the bullet. We'll get those, and we'll get those up and discuss them on the air as well. So, first story I got, Charlie. Um, the ATF is pushing for new rules for receivers, and they're saying that this epidemic of ghost guns is why they're having to do this. Well, in their own paperwork they filed, this coming from Breitbart and AWR Hawkins' story, as the final rule explains, from January 2016 to December 2021, so almost 6 years, the ATF received approximately 45,240 reports of suspected privately made firearms recovered by law enforcement, including 692 homemade or attempted homemade firearms. Out of 45,000, they're worried about 692.
It's completely nuts. I mean, if there is anything that it's ever been a nothing burger, it's less than 700 homicides or attempted homicides used with ghost guns, or homemade firearms, as we call them. And I'm one of these guys. When I teach classes and I say assault weapon, I can't say assault weapon. I have to say assault weapon with a funny voice and air quotes. So it's the
Yes,
same thing with ghost guns and high cap magazines. Like it's all the same. But it really is a nothing burger. I mean, it's nothing. It's hardly anything at all here that they're getting their panties in a twist about. Completely unrelated, the author of the story, A.W.R. Hawkins, is going to be
mhm,
the keynote speaker at AmCon,
yes,
which is the day before the Gun Rights Policy Conference. If anyone's coming to Dallas, please make sure if you want to get in the Second Amendment media, please come to AmCon, and you'll get to hear AWR give a speech.
absolutely. Well, you see, he's not the only one speaking. Charlie Cook and Yehuda Reamer are going to be talking. Then
Yeah, I got to go ahead.
we've got a lot of great speakers coming, and I just wanted to bring up because Charlie was giving kudos to AWR, and I am very glad to have AWR come talk and teach us. I'm again, Charlie always has something great to teach us too.
Well, thanks, man. I told AWR one time. I asked him what. Uh, I told him I thought that AWR stood for always writing right. Like, I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, we need to get back to this. So, less than 700 ghost guns in homicide related in homicides in the last 6 years. So, if we average that out, that's what, 100 a year, which is two a week.
Yeah, a little over 100 a year,
It's
which is probably two and a half, maybe three a week throughout the nation, because we're talking ATF, which is a federal bureaucracy, not a state bureaucracy. So this is throughout the nation, 2 to 3 a week.
right, and it's not that we should dismiss the homicides, but we need to dismiss the fact that they're going after the smallest percent of firearms used, in the homicides.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than whatever the regular manufactured firearms, the big names. It's such a small number. It really is a nothing burger, and it's just something for them to go after and to attack and chip away at our rights.
And I think honestly, it's what they think of as an easy victory. I think they
Oh,
can
sure.
if they think they can paint this as evil and get the general public to buy it as evil because the general public doesn't know that much about it, then they can count it as a victory and they can go into the next election saying, look, we did this. Meanwhile, crime is still going to be amazingly bad. They're not going to have done anything about crime because they're still letting people go. They're still not putting people away when they commit bad acts. Um,
That is real. I mean, we talk about this all the time. They talk about, whatever, reforming rethinking policing and defunding the police and all this sort of stuff. But what they really don't do is, um, they really don't come down on the criminals for their criminal activity. And we have a revolving door of justice where people commit crimes and they get arrested and then they're out by lunchtime and they go get another gun illegally and go commit a crime again. They're back in business in 2 weeks. I don't know if it was here or one of the other shows that I listened to. Somebody was saying that within like some guy got out of jail and within, I think they said a week and a half, they had him arrested again
yeah, that
for
happens
committing the same crime. Yeah.
in California. That happens all the time. I read a story, and this isn't in show notes, but I read a story this week. Apparently, now in New York, uh, you have to pass a background check, just like California. In New York, now you have to pass a background check to buy ammunition. Well, thing is, New York, size wise, isn't as big of a state as California, and it's got a lot more bordering states, and a lot of people live nearer to bordering states. So it's just easy for somebody who lives in New York. If they want to buy ammo, they scoot to New Jersey, they scoot to Pennsylvania, they scoot to New Hampshire, wherever.
Let's go with New Hampshire, Vermont, not New
Yeah.
Jersey.
Well, yeah,
But I
exactly.
mean, you can go to the whole southern border of New York is Pennsylvania, and that's relatively free America. You
I
know,
want to get to a couple of comments
um,
here real quick. Um, this one, this is unusual. Um, they showed Paul Lathrop on WRAL TV Raleigh News last night about a firearm ordinance and private property. I wasn't aware of this.
wow.
I will have to go look
This
that
is
up.
we will. Yes, you need to research this.
So yeah, believe me, and if it's me, with what are the words I'm trying to find? If I was on WRAL News and they didn't call me and interview me, it will make it to the air tomorrow on these airways. And fair use policy, if they're using my image, I'm going to use their broadcast. So
Turnabout
exactly.
is fair
Um,
play.
Pete over at Gun Websites, I agree with Paul. We can take any win away from them through awareness of gun community and education about who are gun owners. Yeah, and it really, Charlie, I think Pete over at Gun Websites nails it. The
Mm,
way we're going to win is education. We're gonna
absolutely.
we don't if we just sit and say my rights, my rights, my rights. Well, we don't win help that way. We got to have friends. We've got to expand ownership of general firearms. And honestly, I think it'd be great if more people owned ghost guns, or ghost guns in the
Ghost guns.
populations. Yeah, uh, we've been able to build our
Absolutely.
own firearms forever.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn about it myself. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, it's such a nothing burger, and they're making a big deal about it. And we do, like G Web said, we do need to educate people and say, listen, this is nothing that they're complaining about it. They're making it out like it's a big deal, and it's less than nothing.
Uh, this is a great comment here. Let me get this one up. I heard about a gun safety education for food project where they set up a table, and if passersby would listen to some gun safety information, they would have a card to a food store nearby. I like that.
Mm,
And not only that, it would target the lower income and honestly lower information people, because who's going to be in the market for a gift card
some
for
free
some
food.
food? Yeah. Um, it, it, I love that idea. That's a fantastic idea.
That is a pretty cool idea.
All right. And then Rob Beckman. Hey, Rob, checks in. He
Wow,
says, education instead of legislation. Gee, I wonder where I've heard that before.
it gets around. It does. It does.
Hmm. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next story. This one off the Daily Caller. This one, I wish I could say it surprised me, and I don't want to make. We just talked about the ATF making a huge deal out of a relatively small number of homemade firearms. I don't want to make a huge deal out of a relatively small amount of misdeeds by the FBI, but this is misdeeds by the FBI. This off the Daily Caller. The FBI secretly pressured Americans into signing forms that relinquished their rights to own, purchase, or even use firearms, according to a trove of internal documents and communications obtained by the Daily Caller News Foundation. The forms were presented by the FBI to people at their homes and in other undisclosed locations, according to Bureau documents unearthed through the Freedom of Information Act by the rights group Gun Owners of America and shared with DCNF. At least 15 people between 2016 and 2019 signed the secret forms which ask signatories to declare themselves as either a danger to themselves or others or lacking the mental capacity to adequately contract or manage their lives. I don't.
This, go ahead.
Again, this is 15 people out of the nation, but it's
Right.
still disturbing.
It is. It's certainly less than the ghost gun number in the last story we had.
Yeah.
The the thing that I find, out. Yeah. I just had something and I lost it. I'll be back.
Okay.
Oh, I know what it was. Remember when Obama was in office and they were encouraging people to say that they're mentally incompetent because they couldn't write a budget? So
Yes.
they wanted them to surrender their rights because they weren't competent enough to
Those
write a budget and take
veterans.
care of their
Yes.
personal needs.
Through the
Yes.
VA. Yes.
This It kind of reminds me of that. Like, some of these people, maybe they shouldn't have the gun rights. Maybe they had intent to harm people. I think it was last year. I hear everyone talking about the pre-crime, the Minority Report. So I decided to watch this. Right? I mean, it's been a long time since I watched it. So
Okay.
wasn't a gun
I
guy
thought
when
you
it
were going to
came
say
out.
you never watched it. I'm like,
No,
wow,
I
you slept through the
I did.
90s.
Not quite asleep.
Yeah.
There was another reason I wasn't paying any attention. Anyway, in Minority Report, they told Tom Cruise all this stuff that was going to happen, and it did. They knew it was going to happen. They saw that it happened. You're going to kill a guy, and he's like, I'm not going to do a such thing. And then you get to the point in the movie. Well, spoiler alert for the other people that might not have seen this, but spoiler alert, he does end up doing everything that they said, but we don't have a way to make that happen. I mean, I get we have to find a way to analyze this and compare it to. Um, but Tom Cruise knew he wasn't going to commit those crimes, but he did end up committing those crimes. And we don't know if these people are actually going to commit
Are they
crimes or
coming
not.
after you? I hear sirens.
That's you talk about pre-crime, and this is what. Sorry, I get the window open. Um, Yeah, so the stuff didn't happen. So I sometimes I get a little like, let's not compare it to Minority Report, even though I get the analogy. We can't be stopping people from doing something they haven't done before they've done it.
Right. Um, get a couple comments in here. Robert says those agents must have been from New Jersey. The story didn't say where they were from, just throughout the United States, and then let's be I mean, 15 instances in several years, and they didn't give a reason why. Just that they didn't give the names of the people that gave the names were redacted. Kind of
Right?
like
Which
some documents
there's
coming out
there's
of Florida. But,
there's less redacted in these documents than that came out of Mar-a-Lago.
yes, yes,
Um, yeah, it says that they came from Massachusetts, Maine, and Michigan. So I guess they're going after the states in the middle of the alphabet. It's kind of how I took that.
all right. Next one. Tony Simon. Simon says, "Train Charlie should teach classes outside of Utah. He could speak to more people if he taught closer to where he lives." He's
True.
got that.
It's
He's
true.
got that second home down south of Salt Lake. I think it's near Sandy, Utah.
I think
You
so. I think so.
know?
Yeah. Tony, Tony, Tony.
uh,
So yeah. So well, some of the stuff in the article here is the people sign their rights away, and there's somebody here that says that you cannot sign your rights away. I guess that there's a difference between losing your rights and signing them away.
yeah.
You
You
know.
have to wonder. There have been instances where I've seen where I want to say it was Alabama. I don't know if that's true or not, but there was an effort to push people to voluntarily get on the restricted list if you thought that there wasn't you could have an issue. And you know I guess I don't have a problem if you really want to put yourself on that list. I just don't like people being coerced by the government to do that.
Oh my gosh, one of them said they had to sign the document in front of their doctor, and they were at a hospital. They signed it in front of their doctor and in front of the FBI agent. My this is the fact that this is what's going on, and uh, what it was a Freedom of Information Act from Gun Owners of America is what prompted all of this to come out. The fact that they did this, and um, it's not a story, certainly not a story in the mainstream media. It's a story with us. Uh, that's a little concerning as well. That they've done this to people. They did it a number of years ago, and people aren't making a big deal about it.
A couple more comments in, then I want to get to one more story, and that's about all we're going to have time for. It's already 20 after the hour. Actually, I'm going to get to a couple because we got some really good comments in here.
Only the smartest people watch this show.
Telling you, man, we do have some smart ones. Rob Beckman again. In the end of a Minority Report, remember that if you know how the system works, you can game it, and that is really all about all of what happened to Tom Cruise in Minority Report. George Geller, going back to Ghost Guns, said, "My Ghost Gun's name is Casper. It's very friendly."
Nice.
And Charlie, you're in trouble with this one. And going back to Tony commented again.
Tony Simon's back.
Charlie just ruined Minority Report. Please don't ruin the ending of Titanic for me.
I will say this. So Titanic came out at the same time as Twister and as Jurassic Park, and I made a vow to never watch those movies.
Oh man.
So I think I did. I think I did cave with my son and watch Jurassic Park, but I've never seen Titanic, and I've never seen whatever the other one was I just mentioned.
It's not appropriate for the air, but next time, when we're in Dallas, remind me to tell you a story about the movie Twister. So anyway,
all right.
Let's see here. Okay, and Robert. Okay, Tony, you get to blame Robert for ruining Titanic for you. Here we go. Robert says the last time Leonardo DiCaprio dated an older woman, she left him in the ocean to drown and freeze.
Wow. I heard he can't watch Titanic. I heard he can't watch Titanic anymore because it's 25 years old.
All right, and getting back towards guns, let's
get focused, Charlie.
Yes, thank you, Michael, for getting us back on track over from the Facebook side. The New York CCW classes 8 hours of New York City gun laws, suicide prevention, and police interaction. Let's face it, legal gun owners are always causing issues. Yeah, right. Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Let's go ahead and go to this next story, and this is again we're at 23 after the hour. This is going to be the last one we're going to have a chance to get to. This off the Reload, a coalition of gun rights groups asked a federal court to block Section 2 of Senate Bill 1327, a new California state law that imposes the cost of litigation on those who challenge gun restrictions in more cases before it gets into effect at the beginning of next year. The law allows state government officials to seek legal fees from plaintiffs if they are unsuccessful on any of their claims. It creates a situation where the plaintiffs may have to pay the state's legal fees even if a court agrees to strike down the law they challenged. The California legislature and Governor Gavin Newsom may think they can ride roughshod over the Constitution, said Alan Gottlieb, the Second Amendment Foundation founder. He said in a statement, but they really can't, and we're hoping the court quickly erases any doubt. We discussed this yesterday a little bit on the show with Craig, but yeah, this law where even if you lose, if you don't win 100% of your lawsuit, you could end up paying for the state's costs. This is baloney, man.
Mm. I gotta say, I didn't pay too much attention to things when I was in high school or junior high, and probably elementary school as well. But I remember hearing in social studies class that if you lose a court case, you have to pay, uh, besides whatever the fees and penalties you have to pay, you have to pay the attorney's fees. And I kind of always thought it was that way.
I believe that's just in civil rights cases.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
I
Um,
don't, I don't know. It seems to, like, to me, I don't want to say it makes sense, but okay, so you lost. You've got to pay up. Like, you've got to pay the fees, and you throw in the attorney's fees as well.
but this California law says unless you win every single point of your lawsuit against the state, you have to pay the state's fees. And so if you win 90% of your case and the judge says, well, on this small point, we're not going to let this small point go through, then you have to pay then you have to pay a California attorney fees. And let's face it, the state's going to charge, let's say your
Oh my
average
gosh.
attorney charges $250 an hour. The state of California is going to charge $12.50 an hour, $1,250 an hour for their attorneys.
Yeah, they're certainly going to find the most expensive people, and they're obviously going to jack up the charges as well if the public's going to have to pick up the bill.
Let me go to a comment here. Robert Posarina on the YouTube side says the American rule is you pay your own attorney's fees. Now I do know in a in the Second Amendment Foundation, I've seen some of the checks that more specifically from the city of Chicago that the Second Amendment Foundation has gotten. If you sue on civil rights grounds and you win, you can recover your attorney's fees if you're suing the government, and that doesn't matter any state, city, federal. You can you can recover. You can. You don't always, but you can recover attorney's fees if you sue on civil rights grounds, and uh, and the SAF has gotten a few checks for that. Not enough to cover all the costs of the lawsuit, just the attorney's fees on a few
Right.
lawsuits. So
I had the opportunity to go to the SAF headquarters in Bellevue, and legitimately one of the things I was looking for was that big check for $400,000 from the city of Chicago, signed by Rahm Emanuel.
yes, yes.
Like, I thought it was. I wanted to have my picture with it, but I thought it was a little tacky.
Well, yeah. You know, I I love those when those things happen, and I kind of I do love it, but in a way, we're taking money from people. Let's face it, this is tax money of people that are
Oh, sure,
oppressed to start with, and so I love
absolutely.
it, but
Right. I love the principle that they have to pay for their, you know wrongdoing,
right.
or for being wrong.
All right, let's do this because we're just about to the bottom of the hour, man. Tell us about riding shotgun with Charlie. Charlie, tell us about writing shotgun with Charlie. Anything else you want to plug, bud?
Yeah, I just want to say, if you haven't subscribed to the Writing Shotgun with Charlie YouTube channel, please do. I've been trying to play with the YouTube Shorts, so that's kind of a fun thing that I picked up from
Hmm.
G Webs a couple nights ago. But please tune in if you haven't checked it out. Please do. The last show I put out, there was a fifth Tuesday in August, and I put out the episode with Michael Schwartz from San Diego County Gun Owners and from Gun Owners Radio, and that was he's a great guy, and I got a lot of really good comments about that. The next show I have is going to be coming out on the second Tuesday of what month is this? September. So it'll be out next Tuesday. So please tune in and check it out. You can watch the show on YouTube. You can listen to the show in podcast form. You can watch it on Gunstreamer, and any place where you get the podcasts. Writing Shotgun, I am not sure when the next Armed Citizen magazine is coming out, but when I do, I'll certainly let everyone know. And if you are interested in getting in the Second Amendment media, please come to AmCon. If you're coming to the Gun Rights Policy Conference in Dallas, there are a few seats that are left, I think, to have people in. So if you're thinking about becoming in Second Amendment media and you see all of us hanging out, having a good time, you can come hang out and have a good time with us in person, and you can possibly become one of the 2A people that we have on shows like this.
Absolutely.
That's what I got.
If you're considering coming to AmCon, go to AmCon, that's AMMCON.org, and register there. We do need you to register if you're coming, otherwise we cannot provide you a free lunch. By the way, SAF does provide free lunch if you come to AmCon, and if you're going to Gun Rights Policy Conference, open secret there is not only do you get lunch on Saturday when they have Gun Rights Policy Conference, they give you books, they give you all kinds of great things, and they have this old bald-headed guy there that broadcasts the thing if you cannot make it. So, all right, on my end, first, Charlie, I gotta say, man, I'm a little disturbed that you're playing with shorts. I just don't want to. I don't know that I want to know that much about that.
Shorts. Short videos, Paul. Short videos.
Okay. All right.
Everyone calls them something different, you know.
All right. Well, on my end, I want to invite everybody. Please do come back. Join us 5 p.m. tomorrow and Friday, noon on Saturday for more editions of The Bullet. Until next time, everybody. Thanks for watching.